Good day everybody, welcome to Kampala Road, and today we're going to fix, or I'm going to try and fix a steam loco. That one there is a Vitrains 37 and it came to a deadly halt the other day, and I think it's the old Hornby chip that has failed. So I've got to find another chip to test that. But that's not why we're here to look at this. And this is my Merchant Navy class. It's brand new. It's actually the loco has never been out of the box, but I know it doesn't work, and I'll show you why. DCC ready. It was same generation as my Black 5 and my Duchess of Buccleuch loco. This was 2008, I think. It was in that period of time where you could get them DCC ready, or you could get them without the DCC plug, and this was one of those, which was ready. I have the new motor, which is here. This little motor is what goes in an awful lot of locos back in those days, and it's the same motor that's in the Black 5 and the Duchess. X4026, I think it was about 15 quid. Doesn't have any big lump of brass on the end, counterweight or whatever it's called. Hornby's typical tiny wiring, which can cause problems. But yeah, I don't know whether this motor is well suited for this style of loco. It's certainly in the Black 5 it's fine. In the Duchess it struggles. I believe it's also found in the tiny little tank engines that Hornby makes, so it tells you they were using a generic motor for big large locos and small ones, so that says in itself really that maybe it wasn't quite correct. So this is what we're doing. It's R2710 Merchant Navy Class Blue Star. And the first thing I do is go on the Hornby website, excuse me, and have a look at the maintenance sheet. I've put in 2710 into the Hornby website for my maintenance sheets, and it's very good, the Hornby site. I know we're back when you actually get them with the model, but here it gives you an example of what other locos have this motor in. So Princess class, class 47, 4F, whatever that is, I don't know what that is, Britannia, back then, another 9F there. Hopefully we can find ours, or mine. King class, 8F, Fowler, 37, Thomas, Bill and Ben, and I think that's us. Give it a go. Okay, so this is the one, I think. Although it didn't have the R number, it's got a lot of Merchant Navy models. I've just looked through the whole list. There's probably about 50 odd different locos that Hornby made with this same motor. So hopefully it's okay. But they're pretty good. You can see the actual loco side with all the complicated detail is in a miniature, and the easy side, or the tender side, which is the easier part of the loco, is in a blown up version, but there you go. So sometimes I print these off and fold them up and put them in the box, and it's fairly straightforward. I just have a look. The wiring diagram is fairly straightforward, albeit not all there. Yeah, I recommend you study these first. It's a wonderful looking loco. I do love the wheel arrangement on it, and the way they're different from the spokes. In the instructions, it does actually show you how to change the motor. This is the service manual that comes with the loco. So it's a fairly straightforward thing, and what I'm going to do today is just change the motor and hopefully get the thing working with a little amount of work. It has that terrible tender connection, I notice. While I got the body off, I might try and do the permanent connection as well, but let's see how we get on changing the motor first. I'm hoping, the loco being brand new, but the pickups are in relatively good condition. As I said, the loco itself has never been out of the box. There she is in all her glory, quite heavy, even though I haven't got her out of the packet yet. She feels quite heavy. The reason I know it doesn't work is I have had the tender out. Get it out from behind and I'll show you why I think it doesn't work. There is the connector to the locomotive, and that is meant to transmit power obviously from the pickups on the tender, and you can see the corrosion that has formed on there. Well, I suppose it's been in the box for 8 or 9, 10 years, but on its travels here, like many of my locos, it's suffered this problem, and you can see the corrosion there. Also, when I was looking at the wheels, and I hope this can pick it up, I don't think it can, you can see where excuse me, the pickups were actually corroded to the wheel. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, not with the light in that direction. Let me try a different angle. You can just see where my finger is on that wheel, a mark on the inner rim, and that's the same on all the wheels. That's where the pickup had attached itself to the wheel. So it does mean that the backs of these wheels have probably got a lot of oxidization on and need cleaning, which is a bit of a bind. Here she is, out of the box for the first time. Get my greasy fingerprints all over the pristine paint. There's no cab detail. I've never actually had this out, so I'm just having a look for the first time myself. There's very little cab detail there. I don't know how much I paid for her, I can't remember. I can't even remember where I bought it from. I don't think it was Hatton's or Rails or Sheffield. Anyway, let's get on with it. So here is the connector, and again you can see the amount of corrosion on there is not good. Underneath is just as bad. Let me move that away a bit. And it will mean that the two tiny wires that Hornby solder in with the tiniest amount of solder will probably give way after a couple of hours running, if they last that long. But let's take it apart and have a look inside. Yeah, nice loco. I wish I didn't have to fix it. Righty ho, there she is, DCC ready. I've just been looking at the end connectors. You can see that needs some serious cleaning. Those are the two Hornby wires coming down to those pickups. And it's got that horrible black goo just there that I get into real trouble with. The most difficult loco I fixed is my super detailed glass 31, and that had copious amounts of black glue in it, or goo. I got it everywhere, including my hair. It was just horrible stuff. Yeah, some corrosion under there. It's very, very tarnished. I was also looking under the wheels for the pickups to see what condition they're in. Let me put a torch there. You can see just on the left hand side of the large wheel there, they are corroded inside. It's very difficult to see, but actually where the pickups touch the wheels, they look in reasonable condition. So I really don't want to take the pickups out. I may have to, because once you bend them out of shape, it's very difficult to get them back in. They don't have a very good memory. So there is some significant corrosion in there, but what I'm hoping is the areas that touch the wheels look okay, and an hour or two of running, it should be okay. That's what I'm hoping, but we'll see. I had lots and lots of problems with my Duchess, and it basically was this connector that was causing a lot of problems. I may graft in 2 wires there and run them directly to the tender, which will solve a lot of problems, because I think these wires will probably give way. My 9F, which has been subject to a couple of videos of mine, it was brand new, same coupling arrangement as everybody knows, and both wires came away within a couple of hours of running. Sorry, I'm going out of focus. They really were not good. Too much light. Okay, so let's get going and take the motor out. There she is, sitting nicely. Shouldn't be too hard. And this is the correct replacement. Right, to get the motor out, there's a bracket here holding it on this side, and then there's this worm cover holding it in on this side. So to get this bracket off, there's a screw under there, under the pony truck somewhere, there. So the pony truck will probably have to come off. And then there is a screw underneath all this paraphernalia, which is TV suppressor, I believe. There's a screw just here to get this section off. And then there's a tape and the unsoldering of the motor. So let me get that going. Shame. There we go. I took off the rear bracket here without taking off the pony truck, because if I took off the pony truck, these 2 flimsy wires would definitely come away, and I'm just trying to get away without doing too much of that at the moment. I want to see if I can get it running without putting in permanent wiring, but maybe I should just do the permanent wiring. Anyway, the motor is out. Just got to unsolder those 2 wires and solder up the new wires. It's very, very simple. That's the worm drive cover, and a little screw there holding everything together. So let's get on with it, and I won't do my soldering on camera, it's appalling. So I'll come back when the new motor is soldered in. Okie doke, new motor's in place, and it's just a matter of putting this rear bracket back on and screwing this section back on here, this little thing back on here, the worm drive cover if you like. I'll put the tape back on, but in my experience this tape, once you've compromised it, that's it. It doesn't really like being disturbed, and better off to use some new stuff. In fact, that's coming away right now. Yeah. So, just to demonstrate why I changed the motor, this is the old motor. If I try and turn that worm, I can't. It is seized solid. Absolutely solid. So I saw on a Barry Davis video a couple of weeks ago how he was repairing some of these, and I may, as an experiment, pull this apart just to see what's actually happened in all these motors. The brushes have obviously seized against the commutator, I guess, or the commutator is corroded, I don't know, but I may pull that apart and have a look. But yeah, that is solid, can't turn it at all. So I might put this, put a chip in and just see how it runs without the tender. It'll be very jerky. In my experience, to start with, these take a while to cajole into life. See how she goes, and then decide whether to hardwire in the tender. Right, so problems. Not unexpected really, but a pain in the backside. I put it on the track and she fired up, albeit stutteringly, and then short-circuited. So on inspection, this wire here has come away from the circuit board of the plug, DCC plug just here. And it's a tiny, tiny connection. Yeah, probably see it there. and it's obviously corroded. And my soldering iron is not good enough for that. So I'm going to have to beg, steal, borrow a soldering iron from somewhere to try and reconnect this wire on the left to that rather corroded looking connection down there. Nothing's ever easy in life, is it? Strip that little bit of wire that's left, so it's a nice clean bit of copper, I hope. And then I've just sandpapered the connection there. It's not big, to clean that so that the solder will hold. I have to admit this is way beyond my soldering skills, but I'm going to give it a go because there's nobody else who's going to help me. So off camera I'll give it a go and you won't hear the swearing. I guess perseverance pays off. That wasn't very pleasant, and successfully burnt myself in the process, but I'm not very good at soldering. So what I've done is the wire that was supposed to join at the top of the chip or the plug board, there's actually two wires that are meant to go in there. They've both come away, so I joined them together and I've soldered in directly to the bottom of the board here. Now, as I said, I'm not very good at soldering, so I'm hoping that holds together. But there is a little bit of positive news of this. If I just hold that there and turn this on, power on, chip is programmed to 3. Off she goes. Nice silent motor. Reverse. Yes, a little bit of hesitation there, off she goes. Cleaning the wheels. So the next job is to sort out the tender and the connection. I've had enough soldering for one day, so I'm decided, being lazy as I am, not to put direct wiring in. So I've got to clean these and the underneath ones there and the connection on the tender, and let's see if we can get it going. But we're sort of getting there, I think. Yeah, I just hope that soldering connection underneath there holds. It's fairly strong, but you never know because the wiring is the original wiring and it's very, very thin, pretty grotty stuff. Right, so I've cleaned those connectors with sandpaper. Took a while because the oxidization is pretty thick. These wires really do worry me. They're the ones that came off on the 9F and the Black 5 and the Duchess Loco, so they're destined to go the same way. But at the moment I'll leave it as it is. The other thing I've just done is, you may remember this at the beginning of the video, I've cleaned the tender connection. And you can see that's a vastly different colour to what it was. I cleaned that with a Dremel type wire brush because it was so thick the sandpaper was getting nowhere. I've also cleaned with the Dremel wire brush the backs of these wheels very gently to get the tarnish off, so I'm hoping that'll improve things. So next stage is to get it on the track and let's see what happens. I've got a little Hornby chip in there. They seem to work quite well with the Hornby locos. One of the cheapo ones, so let's see what happens. Right, first tentative steps. Going in the wrong direction, but at least she's moving. See her go. No, she's stalled. No, she's going. A bit juddery. Could be the new motor, I guess. Stop her there, bring her back. I tend to find that I get to this stage and everything goes wrong when I try to put the body on. Oops, a bit jittery. Alright, might try and run her in then, with the body off. Right, I move the 108 out of the way and she's in the station, so this loco is now on the upline and we'll see how she goes. It's normally pretty shaky, don't know whether that's me or my way I fix things or it's normal, but let's see how she goes. She's in reverse again, so give her a go. You can see the motor turning. Oh, and the chip's burnt out. How is that? Oh, I've got a fire. Dear oh dear. Okay, so there she is. Now I've had a couple of problems. As you saw, one of the chips had blown up and caught fire, so I've been trying these. This is an old Bachmann chip, I think an old lens silver, and I'm having problems with shorting out, especially with this one. Shorts out on every point, although the chip fortunately didn't blow up. So what I've done is I've stuck in a Hatton's chip just to see what happens. You can see there. And everything's fine. She doesn't short out on any of the points. She's stuttering across a couple, but that may be just the dirty pickup. So now I'm going to let her run in for an hour each way and see what happens. But I don't know why the other chip caught fire. I really don't know. Obviously something wasn't right. I'd done something wrong. It was a small Hornby one, the 500 milliamp, whatever it is. Anyway, let's give her a go and run her in for half an hour or so each way. Okay, this is about an hour later now, and some investigations as to why the chip went up in smoke, down to not my soldering expertise or lack of it, but one of the wires from the tender was touching the opposite polarity, if you like. Now what happened was that the tender wasn't really picking up any current, but every now and again when it did touch, it shorted out. And eventually burnt out the chip. So I've taken that wire off, re-soldered it onto the 8-pin DCC board, making sure it cannot touch anything else. As you can see, I have a reasonable running loco. Excuse the Nesquik. Now the challenge being, every time I fix a loco and put the body on, something happens to make it not work. So this is the bit I don't like, cramming everything into the body. So I'm going to give that a go now. Okay, there she is, and fixed. I've just run it a couple of times around the layout and hesitates on a couple of points every now and again, so I think next time I will connect the tender up permanently, because the brass couplings where the tender joins the loco are heavily corroded. I've cleaned them, but one is actually broken while I was cleaning it, so there wasn't much left of it. So the next job is to permanently wire up the tender to the loco, which I shall do, but I'm quite pleased. Did lose one decoder. It's not the first time I've lost a decoder fixing these things. but I think it's worth it given I haven't got a merchant navy, and she wasn't working at all, but now she is. So now is the running time. I'll run her in an hour each way and see what she's like after that. So I hope you found this informative and what I'm up to in my layout, and I'll leave you with that from Uganda and Kampala Road. Cheers for now.